What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Disney's The Little Mermaid. The new one, not the original one. Let's rock this. Okay, of all the live actionization that Disney has been doing over the past decade, you can file this one under not bad, not bad at all. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Did I have a great time watching it? Absolutely yes. This one does not make the same mistake that Lion King live action did, which was just a carbon copy of the animated film. The Little Mermaid actually adds its own fresh spin to it, which is nice. And the new songs are catchy, especially the rap duet by Aquafina and David Diggs. It definitely got my foot tapping. And if this new reimagining proves anything, is that the classic songs are still timeless to this day. I love Hallie's voice inclusion in the Under the Sea chorus, for example, which makes the song all the more delightful and exquisite. Now, are some of the criticism about this movie valid? Yes. But at the same time, you can also throw reasonable counter arguments at every last one of them, which I will explain to you further in this review. So stick around. Scripted by David Maggi and directed by Rob Marshall, The Little Mermaid is the beloved story of Ariel, a beautiful and spirited young mermaid with a thirst for adventure. The youngest of King Triton's daughters and the most defiant, Ariel longs to find out more about the world beyond the sea, and while visiting the surface, falls for the dashing Prince Eric. While mermaids are forbidden from interacting with humans, Ariel must follow her heart. She makes a deal with the evil sea witch Ursula, which gives her a chance to experience life on land, but ultimately places her life and her father's crown in jeopardy. Starring Halle Bailey, Jonah Hauer-King, David Diggs, Jacob Tremblay, Javier Bardem, and Melissa McCarthy. Before we get to the negatives, let me just say Halle Bailey is phenomenal. We all knew she could sing, but her rendition of part of that world in this film blows my mind. Blows my mind, which is a breath of fresh air because if you recall, Emma Watson looked the part, but she couldn't sing in Beauty and the Beast live action. Well, great news, guys. There's no auto tune needed here. Halle, she looked the part and she could sing remarkably, I might add. I can listen to Halle sing all day, every day. I got chills and they're multiplying. But Rama, how is her acting? Well, Halle's acting is exactly what this film needs. Guys, this is not an Oscar worthy movie. And if you remember, in the original animated film, Ariel, for the most part, was this wide eyed, curious, hell bent, enthusiastic girl in a fish out of water storyline with Eric. So that's pretty much what you get from Halle's performance, which pretty much carries this entire film. Now, in terms of blackwashing or diversity forcing or whatever you want to call it, I already told you back when Halle was cast in this role that I never really had a problem with it. Guys, newsflash, mermaids don't exist. Mermaids are not real. So there's no actual pressure to have some kind of a ethnic accuracy to begin with. So if that still bothers you, even after you've watched this movie, then that's more of a you problem. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, you do know that some level of suspension of disbelief is required for fictional stories like this, right? Look, I've read some of the social media reaction from my fellow critics who've also watched this film and they hated it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of them are being way too nitpicky. and they care too much about sounding sophisticated. I mean, are some of the underwater sequence graphics a bit shoddy? Yes, and perhaps the lighting is problematic. But guys, if this movie had been made 10 years ago, it would have looked worse. What I'm getting at is maybe this is the best that today's technology could do these days. And if you wanted this to look like James Cameron's underwater sequence in Avatar sequel, yeah, perhaps Disney could have gone for that, but that would have been an overkill budget for something like this, which again is not trying to be Oscar worthy. Somebody also said that Javier Bardem was comically off. His eyes looked soulless, like he wasn't staring at anything when he was speaking to Sebastian. Well, in Javier's defense, pretending or acting against something that isn't actually talking back to you is not easy, even for an Oscar winner like him. I think any actor would find themselves in the same situation in his shoes. So that particular critique to me is a bit harsh. And as for Sebastian, which is wonderfully voiced by David Diggs, by the way, brilliant casting choice. Now, some folks take offense with this particular character design. And I'm like, what? What? So you wanted a live action CG crab to have googly eyes and a big mouth like the cartoon? Look, I'm telling you guys, many of the criticism about this movie are too nitpicky, and they come off sounding highly pretentious if you ask me. If there is one thing that truly bothers me about this film, is that for much of it, the story gets too drawn out. And then in the third act, it's as if director Rob Marshall just presses the fast forward button. So there is inconsistency in the pacing. Look, I get it. The original animated film remains near and dear to the hearts of millions out there. That's why you guys are so passionate about wanting a drag queen to play Ursula as opposed to Melissa McCarthy. But guys, Melissa McCarthy actually did a bang up job as Ursula. Funny, manipulative, and just diabolically fabulous. So, yeah, overall, I give The Little Mermaid live action movie the rating of 3.5 out of 5. This film will ultimately receive mixed reactions, but I, for one, am in the camp who genuinely liked it because I watched it with a fairly open mind. So that's it. That's my review of The Little Mermaid live action film. Smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know, share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's rock this.